Hey everyone, welcome to epicspeak, where I help you engage in better English conversations. I am super stoked about today's video because in this lesson, we are going to take some common, boring words that we use almost every day and look into more interesting, smarter alternatives to those words. Whether you're a housewife, a professional, or a student preparing for competitive exams, this lesson will help you take your English to the next level and make scintillating conversations. Are you ready? Let's get into it. The first word is angry. But instead of angry, you can also use the word furious. For example, Dad was furious when he received a complaint from my teacher for the third time this month. Furious, very angry. You can also use the word livid. It also means very angry. I was livid when she took my jacket without even asking and got a stain on it. Another word you can use in angry is enraged. Enraged. Mom was enraged when she found out I had been sneaking out of my room. So instead of angry, you can use the words furious, livid, enraged. The next word is sad. Instead of sad, you can say inconsolable. If someone is so sad that they can't be consoled, they are inconsolable. For example, the couple were inconsolable after the death of their young daughter. Another word you could use is devastated. Devastated. Devastated is almost like heartbroken. She was devastated when her fiancé called off the wedding. Devastated. Another word you can use instead of sad is desolate. Desolate. Desolate is when you're very sad, usually because you're lonely. Example, when I arrived alone in the new city, I at first felt desolate. You're away from your parents or your family, and so you're very unhappy. Then desolate would be the right word to use. Another word you can use instead of sad is despondent. Despondent is also when you're feeling sad, but usually because you've lost hope or courage. For example, she grew despondent when her job application was rejected for the second time. So because now you've lost hope, you've been rejected 2 times and now you're feeling down, and so you're sad, despondent. The next word is truthful. Instead of saying truthful, you can say candid. When you're candid, you're very open and straightforward. You don't hide anything. For example, the actress shared many childhood memories in a candid interview. Another word you can use instead of truthful is frank. You're frank when you're honest and direct, especially when dealing with unpleasant matters. You can also use the word outspoken. You're outspoken if you're frank in stating your opinion, especially if it is shocking or controversial. Outspoken. Here are some examples. He was frank while giving his opinion on my thesis and asked me to rework on it. Another word you can use instead of truthful is blunt. If you're blunt, you're truthful, but you don't really care what the other person would feel after listening to your opinion. Here's an example. When I asked if I could borrow some money, she gave me a blunt no. The next word is clever. Instead of saying clever, you can say whip smart. So when you whip smart, you're very smart. You're smart as a whip. Example sentence, he gained fame as a whip smart CEO who saved the company from many crises. Crises is the plural form of crisis. Another word you can use instead of clever is canny. To be canny is to be very clever and show good judgment, especially in financial matters, or in the matters of business. For example, the canny investors quickly cut a deal with the naive farmers. Naive means innocent or showing a lack of worldly experience. Another word you can use instead of clever is brilliant. Brilliant. It was a brilliant plan that saved him a lot of money. Canny or brilliant or whip smart. Another word that we very commonly use is bad. Next time you want to say bad, say lousy instead. Lousy means very bad. So if you've seen a very bad movie, you can say it was a lousy movie. I've wasted 2 hours of my life. You can also use the word dreadful instead of lousy. Their customer service was dreadful. I'm never buying anything from them. It's very bad. You can also use the word abysmal instead of bad. Abysmal. For example, the migrants were forced to work in abysmal conditions. Abysmal means very bad conditions. Another word that we use a lot is hungry. And instead of hungry, the next time you can use the word ravenous. Ravenous means very hungry. I was ravenous after trekking the hill for 2 hours. Or you can also use the word starving. Having skipped breakfast, I was starving by lunchtime. You can also use the word famished. Famished. It means very hungry. She took one look at the famished children and gave them some bread. Another word is rich. This is also a very common word that we use. And instead of rich, the words that you can use are affluent. Affluent means very wealthy or very rich. Here's an example. With a monthly membership fee of 10,000, it's an exclusive club for the affluent. Another word you can use is opulent. Opulent also means very rich or wealthy. Every house in this opulent neighborhood has its own rooftop pool. The next word is brave. Now, instead of brave, the words you can use are gutsy, intrepid, dauntless. Gutsy means very brave. Example, she's a gutsy woman who always spoke her mind. Another word you can use is intrepid. Intrepid. Intrepid means fearless and adventurous. For example, the intrepid explorer walked into the looming dark cave alone. Another word you can use instead of brave is dauntless. Dauntless means brave and determined. For example, the dauntless athlete went on to win a medal in the Olympics despite his injury. He did not let his injury stop him. So if you're dauntless, you're not only brave, but also determined. The next word is lazy. A word you can use instead of lazy is languid. If you're languid, you are disinclined to do any physical activity. Example sentence, we are usually languid and relaxed on a Sunday morning. You can also use the word indolent in place of lazy. Example sentence, it was noon by the time the indolent teenager finally came down in his pajamas. Instead of lazy, the words you can use are languid, idle, or indolent. The next word is loud or noisy. The word you can use instead of loud or noisy is thunderous. Thunderous. Thunderous means very loud. For example, the audience gave a thunderous applause as the performance ended. Another word you can use is boisterous. The word boisterous means noisy, also very lively and energetic. So, an example sentence would be, the boisterous party kept me awake all night. The party was very loud, very energetic, very lively. Another word you can use instead of loud is booming. You use this usually for voices, somebody's voice. Example, the teacher's booming voice silenced the entire class. Another good word that you can use instead of loud is deafening. Deafening, which is very loud. Example sentence, she covered her ears as she heard a deafening clap of thunder. The next word is clean. Now, instead of clean, you can use the word spotless. Spotless. The word itself gives you an idea if something is so clean that you can't even spot one little mark. It's spotless. So you can use the word spotless. You can also use the word immaculate. Immaculate means clean and tidy. The hospital floors were spotless and the bed sheets were immaculate, all ready for an inspection. You can also use the word pristine. This is a very good word that you can use in place of clean. Pristine. If it's pristine, it is clean and fresh as if new. Think of clear waters in a stream or the snow on the Himalayas. If you think of those things, you get the word pristine in your mind. Here's an example. He wore a pristine white shirt for the interview. The next word we have is poor. This is also a word that we use a lot. It's very common. But instead of saying poor, you can say broke or penniless or destitute. So if you're broke, it means you have no money, no more money coming in, you have no hopes of getting any money, you've lost everything that you have, you're broke. Example sentence, he went broke after his business ran into losses. The other word that I said is penniless. A penny is a very small denomination of money. So if you're penniless, then you have not even a penny. You don't have any money. Example sentence, the kind old lady took pity on the penniless young man and gave him some food. Another word that you can use instead of poor is destitute. If you're destitute, you're so poor that you have nobody to take care of you and you have no means to take care of yourself. Example sentence, the orphanage takes in and cares for the destitute. If you've liked this video, I think you might like these videos as well. Share this video with friends so that it can reach more people. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you soon. Bye.